and welcome back to another installment of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed. And today is all about tenacity, the entrepreneurial mind, and how you, yes, you could actually start your business tomorrow with very, very minimal startup, and you could start creating your own business. And that to me, and the Mind Management Mentors podcast, it is an absolute goldmine of a conversation when we're giving away so much value that you're going to like, I need to watch this podcast. So if it's in the mind, it can be managed. My name's Cuddy Cudworth, your host. I know you're watching this, and we're coming up to nearly 40,000 subscribers now. Thank you very much for joining in. Like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. And I very rarely ask for people to like and subscribe because I believe you should watch something, you want to enjoy it, and then you want to see some more. But as the algorithms work these days, if we don't ask, we don't get. So it helps the channel grow and it helps getting the value out to people that are thinking, that is something I want to do. So, as if you were on blind dates, Kevin, because we've got a long story to go through, as if you were on blind date, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So I'm Kevin Matthew, born and bred in Dundee, in Scotland, and I am from a company called Made to Travel, which is an independent travel agency.
I love it. Now, before we get into how somebody can actually start their own travel company today, there's a big, big story that I've learned over the time of working with you about the mindset an entrepreneurial person, somebody's sitting there going, thinking, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I know I made a joke about it. Most people become entrepreneurs because they're like, well, I don't want to be told what to do by somebody else. I think I can do it myself. And then when you work for yourself, you start realizing, oh, God, I'm my own boss. I don't like myself, right? Because you have to tell yourself what to do. You actually are going to have to be, someone's going to have to tell you what to do because it's not just laid out right there going, oh, I can now live the life I want. However, for you to be able to live the life that you want, because we're going to talk about that story as well later, there is a process and a journey that we go through before we become aligned, before we sit with something and go, that is why this business is flourishing for me and how it can flourish for you. So, Kev, go back to the beginning and talk about Kev when he realized he was traveling the world and he has to come home and he felt like he hadn't got many options for what Kev can do.
Well, to put it in perspective, up in Scotland, up here in Dundee, when I was 18,
Yes.
to be honest with you, knowledgeable wise in terms of workforce and what you can do, was very limited.
Yeah.
So I finished university and took off to Italy because I was a bit of a yes person. People would ask me, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And I say, "Yeah, I'll do that." Um, so which is great because it brings you down different avenues, and that's what life's all about. After 2 years in Italy, I'm thinking to myself, right, I need to get this proper career here. Enough of this mucking about. So you come back to Dundee, but the problem you've got with Dundee is that back when I'm, finishing uni, what's that, 21, 22, 23, I'm thinking, what is it I can do? And in my mind, because of the lack of opportunities back then, I've got three options, right? Number one, the police. Number two, the RAF. And number three, teaching. Well, I'm colorblind. So back then, you couldn't get into the police. You had to be a non-colorblind person. I think that's changed now. And the RAF's a total no-go. So it was police. The teaching. One other problem. There was no Scottish teaching school open. They closed all the doors to me in Scotland to become a teacher. So I had to go down to Brighton. And then down in Brighton, I did my teaching, but I'm down there anyway. So I thought, well, why not just teach in London? Might as well experience a bit of London. So that's what I did.
That's brilliant. So you got presented with three options. Two of them were in no. Well, three of them technically were a no, and then you're like, well, what else can do? And that's an open mindset. That's an open mindset question right there. Instead of listening to the no's, it's like, well, what can I do? And I always say this with my clients when I'm working with my clients that if you ask silly questions, your brain has to answer them. So if you ask better questions, your brain will answer them for you. And I remember one time where I was going down a massive worry spiral. And I remember my wife couldn't come out and join me on a cruise ship, and I was working on the cruise ship. And something had gone wrong. I think the itinerary had changed, and we couldn't afford to get her out there. So I kept asking the questions like, well, we can't do this, and we can't do this, and we can't do this. And I remember I knew that I had to ask better questions for my brain. And I remember I we said we went to, we were in where were we now? We were in Stirling. We were in Stirling or Falkirk. Falkirk, we were on the high street. I said, right, let's go to Costa. Let's sit down because we're getting panicky, we're getting worried, getting upset. And we just said, what can we do? That one question, chip, well, what can we do? And in 5 minutes of having a coffee and being upset because we're going to be apart, we were like, well, we can do this, we can do this, and we can do this. And that was it. Our worry had stopped. So for anybody wanting to manage their minds, ask better questions. Your brain has to answer them. And if we're asking questions where there's a close end, then you just go down a spiral and then we panic and go down that. So that's a prime example, Kevin, of a fantastic mindset right there. Three options. There was probably more, but in that moment, there was like, well, no, we can't, and we can't do that, and I can't do that. What can I do? And that's a valuable tip for anybody watching this. And I think that's amazing. Now, when I did meet you and I was at a networking event and I saw you, I found it fascinating that you had quite a lot of side hustles, entrepreneurial jobs, and you had a mindset to go, well, this one's not working, so we did this. So talk to me about that process of trying out the entrepreneurial world and the entrepreneurial mind.
I need to keep busy. That's rule number one. Um, I'm always looking. I'm always looking to better. That's
Yeah.
always been a trait of mine. How can I do that better? Like, what else can I do to make that? So I got a job in London, and I also taught fitness on the side. So there's job number two, and I got offered a promotion. Fantastic. I took the promotion, and Mr. Yes Man came out again, and somebody said, "Oh, who would like to do a free master's degree?" And I went, "Oh, I'll do that." So, head of department, 12 people in my team, and doing a master's degree. But this is where the kind of the entrepreneurial thing I think came in, because during the master's degree, I was learning about education, but at the same time, I was building a company. So I used the master's degree subconsciously building this company called Fitness for Your Future. And to be honest with you, during it, it just took off. And that open-mindedness, Cuddy, that
Yeah.
to me is your brain will pull in, it will attract the law of attraction, it'll pull in the answers. And we ended up in a short period of time getting so many contracts, like big contracts, £500,000, and big juicy contracts from NHS Barking, etc. That I just turned around one day and went, okay, I think I'm going to go part time now. So when I gave up my 40 or £1,000 a year at that time, which is quite a good
That's
wage,
good.
and
Yeah.
for a third year teacher, it's not bad at all. And then I went down the route because my mind just went, this is what you've got to do. And so I just, yes, I'll do that. Just,
So what I found fascinating about fitness first was
yeah,
it was three Fs, wasn't it? What was the business again?
fitness for your future.
Now, what I
FFF.
liked about that is the DVDs that you created because it was all around mindset, technically movement, physiology, and emotional health for kids, for them to
That's right.
learn more because they're
Yeah,
physically fit.
that's
And
right.
you had a DVD series, and I found it interesting that that got you into an introduction to the original Fitbit.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
I
So
was
for
listening
me,
this morning, by the way, Kev. I listen intently. When I'm not talking, I go deep dive. So if anybody says, Cuddy, why are you not talking? Because you know I'm loud, right? We all
that's
know I'm
it.
loud. I'm learning. So I've learned your story, Kev. And I was like, that's the story that we need to tell. Because you were part of the setup for before became Fitbit. It was, what was the
Well,
name of the product?
it was Fitbit was launched,
Yeah.
right? But just before it, and then at the same time in the UK, Move Band. So it was called Move Band,
Yeah.
and a guy called Blake Squires, who like he's an angel investor. He's massive in the States, and they ended up selling that. You know, they ended up selling that to a healthcare company. But I can remember being at the I can't remember where it was, Excel Centre in London. We had a big stall, and Move Band was sat next to Fitbit as the next thing to come. Now, the only reason there was two reasons why, in my opinion, the avenue stopped, and this is my entrepreneurial mind going again. Fitbit went mainstream, Move Band went healthcare.
Ah, right. Because you said that the bit it came to there was a business crash in 2008 and something dived and you were like, we had to get out.
Well, that was a mixture of Move Band, Fitness for Your Future, all our DVDs, all of the work with the NHS. I'm talking about like every single morsel that we had in place. Um, just went. You know, we had like a few months of the on the payroll in terms of pulling money, funding in, and then NHS said, nope, that's it. We need to stop. Uh,
And so Kev is there, right? He's gone from like teacher, running his own business. It's doing well. We've got thousands, hundreds of thousands coming in.
yeah.
Boom, stops. What's Kevin's mindset in that moment? What are we so what's the meaning that Kevin is creating?
So every single time that that has happened, I suppose, I mean, I've never been diagnosed, but must have a form of ADHD brain just goes on, it kind of goes on a journey. So it's for want of an easier word. And I will walk around a lot and I'll just think and I'll think and I'll think. And remember, you alluded to the fact of the questions that you ask yourself will determine your brain's capacity to provide the answer that you have asked. That's all it's doing, right? It's a powerful computer mind just. But if you don't ask the right questions, and if you're not open to that, and that's the difficulty in hard times. That
Mm.
the difficulty in hard times is that you're in this box, and that's all I can. Because I have been there, a few times, and you're in this box, and it's having the ability to actually say, "Wait a minute, no, let's just open that door to that box, and where's that going to go?" And that's all I did. I just went, okay, right. So we've got X, Y, and Z. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Okay, well, I've still got that line of income. So why don't I go back into teaching on a supply basis? And obviously, my track record was fantastic because I'm a lecturer at university. I'm head of department at PE. I've headed up all these sports programs. So I got work, no problem at all. But obviously, the itchy feet, itchy feet. What's next? What's next? What can we do? What can we do? And then my mum came for a visit from Scotland, and she said, "Well, Sam, my wife, you're really crafty, and you love to make things." And then that's when the next business, made at 94, came about.
And that was a cool business because I mean this is clearly even if we've got the ADHD brain then we know that there's a different creativity from that if we understand how to harness that and everything about you Kevin is creativity and that's again take ADHD out of the way we're now knowing what side of the brain that we want to operate from
Yeah.
because one side's creative, one side's fear-based. Fear-based keeps you alive. Creativity gives you choices and options. To use the analogy, leave the cave. Fear keeps us stuck in the cave when the dinosaurs are coming for us. The creativity goes, right, which way do I need to get out? All right. So now we've got two sides of the brain. Take ADHD out of the way. We've now got Kevin going, let's create. By the way, there were lovely pieces of craft, by the way. I know you
Thank
were
you.
talking about the Scrabble pieces, so you've got to tell us about that.
Um, well, bring it up to today, dot, which is now. We still have the gift business. We still have an element of that. Um, and the plan is now at the end of this year, then that will stop. I'll go into that in a bit. But we make everything from toy boxes. It all started off with a writing. So Sam used to write or used to stick Scrabble pieces um, onto hearts and onto bits of wood that I used to buy, right? And then I thought to myself, right, wait a minute, I'm buying these for like 75 pence. What's that all about, right? And then the mind starts going. So Sam's dad's very, very hands-on and crafty. So what I ended up doing is, wait a minute, we're buying those for like 75 odd pence, right? I could get that down to 10 pence because it's just a bit of rectangle piece of MDF. So I'll buy a big sheet from B&Q and it's £6.40, right?
Love it.
I'll get them, and they had a cutting machine and everything, right? So they sliced it up into I can't remember, 6 pieces. Back of the car. Hi, Sam's dad. Dennis, give me a hand. So he made a jig up for me. I'd never done that before. A wee jig, which means, something that can repeatedly be put on to create the exact same item. 10 pence. So our profit margin went from 75 plus to 10 pence. Sorry, I just sidetracked there, but yeah.
No, it's not a sidetrack. It's an important part for anyone to go. You know what? We've now started. Seriously, the second we access the left side of the brain, the creative side of the brain, we move away from scarcity and fear and feeling stuck. And anybody can do it. It doesn't matter if we know how to make the brain operate for us. And we say for us, it's actually us that operates the brain. We're the drivers. The brain is the engine, if you like, and it's if we put it in the right gear, we go as fast or as slow as we want, and that's the premise of this podcast, Kevin, because that now we've built this story of we've had the failures, we've had the understanding, we now use the tips that we're going to walk away. Well, if Kev can do this, well, I can do this. If Cuddy does this, I can certainly do this, which is a much more powerful premise instead of what does Kevin know what he's talking about, because that's judgment. The
Yeah.
second we get stuck in judgment of watching somebody else, we then get comparison, we get resentment. Oh, well, no, I'm not like Kevin. There's no way I could do what Kevin does. Actually, everybody could do what Kevin does.
Everything. Yeah.
And that leads us on to, well, actually, Kevin has found something that's totally aligned with what he wants to do. He's now setting the goals, and it's such a powerful goal, Kev. Seriously, I can't wait to watch you on social media, TikTok, however you're going to do it. There will be a lot of people that'll be like, right, that's now what I want to do. So we're now going to talk about the power of setting goals, which I'll be open and honest, I'm not always the best fan of it for the amount of goals I've set in the past and not reached them. But you know what? I've moved a lot more further forward because of the goals, which is
Yeah.
always the thing. It's never the attainment of the goal, it's the fact that we are moving towards something. So we're not stuck. Kev, you have a fantastic business that just sits with you and you love to tell the world about it. So tell everybody watching right now how you found this business and why it set you alight.
Well, set me alight is a nice word, but the reality of it is it saved us. 13 years we've had made it 94. As I said in my speech today, we went from in 8, 9 months, we went from 2 plaques a day, and then our goal was 5, and then our goal was 10, and then our goal was 15, and then our goal was 20. To and we Edison was just born there, so we had like a less than 1 year old, and Christmas 2013 we were selling 110 plus a day. Sam was working during the day, and I had Edison, which was fantastic, by the way. But then I would do a night shift, so you can imagine that. So we did really, really well, and it just kept on growing and kept on growing and kept on growing. Staff, premises, machinery, evolution of how we do things and what we do. And COVID, that's okay. COVID's fine. After COVID. And I remember during COVID, there was a lecturer, and I don't know where he was lecturing. It was actually, I think it was YouTube, I found it. And he said, "You have not seen anything yet. He says, see this COVID thing? We're in this beautiful little bubble. Give it 5 years after COVID and watch the world. I'll never forget it.
By the way, it's not wrong. But I mean, we are literally 5 years after.
Uh, and I'll never forget it because we were there with premises and all these sorts of things. And then suddenly people just stopped buying. So staff after staff after staff after staff after then phone call to Sam saying, and again, I'll never forget that. It's key moments in your life. We need to get out of this premises or we're going to be bankrupt. Like, no joking aside. And luckily enough, we managed to get out. And it was 2024 at this point, and we just kept on earning less, and we didn't have anything coming in the household at that point. And then we got this phone call, right? It was the strangest thing ever. Sam's friend, Kate. Now, the key point of this story is we're up in Scotland, and Scotland notoriously gets things a little bit later than everyone. Come from America, go down to London, spread its wings, and then, oh, hi, Scotland. But I'd lived in London. I'd lived in Brighton. I met my wife in Kent, and she's from Kent. So Kate, one of her close friends, and she works for the Met Police, high up there. She went, Sam, you and Kevin need to look at this presentation because it's got you written all over it for the travel side, but this business side, Kevin is like, he could just nail this. I looked at it, I closed the laptop down, I walked across to Sam, and before actually I say anything, just remember this point, we had no money coming in, right? I was depressed.
Obviously, of course.
Like, looking back on it, yeah, I should have been having some form of help.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being like, seriously, that's one of the things that I do say to people, and that's why I'm so open about it, because I can be, and that is like, wow, I was in a bad place.
Yeah.
And I'm strong, you know, I'd like mentally fit, I think, but that really just grinded every single day and month of those years that were just declining. And then the phone call came, and it was the only way I can describe it is it was like that, and I couldn't see anything. I was waking up in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
walking, going to the toilet, walking, looking out the window, coming back to bed, getting up, and then suddenly phone call, and it was bang. Sam, what? 2 weeks. The next day, she'd done her training, which is about an hour and a half. 2 weeks later, she'd booked a holiday, and it was £590 commission. And we were like that. Wow. Then we used the platform, and I said, Sam, this is unbelievable. And then that's where Made to Travel was born. But the travel platform absolutely saved our family, I would say.
So just going off, so this is obviously why you're going to be like, I need to tell the world about it because this is what it did for me.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful story, Kev. That honestly, Kevin, mate, that is a massively powerful story. And when I listen to you know, we do a lot of networking. I know we know each other from that area. You know, in the world, there's a lot of sales, and
Yeah.
I zone out when there's sales. I don't think I've ever once zoned out. So when you've talked about your business, because there's no selling. It's opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. That's all I ever hear.
Yeah. And actually, but the other reason why, for me, it's such a beautiful thing is, and whether this be in the travel industry, by the way, that's what we do, and we'll find out in a second why this is aligned so much with our family values. But with this model, that's all I'm going to go on to say. With this model, I have changed people's lives already. Whether that be because they're in this country and they want to travel that little bit more so they can get a little bit more of a special experience, or whether that be because they needed money and they then used this model to then educate other people about the platform. Because the essence is a lot of people travel, a lot of people book their own holidays, and all this platform enables them to do is to do it better.
Yeah. It's a very when I listen to you talk about it, I think I understand your business. It's a clever way for people to be able to book their own holidays, book other people's holidays, and then
Yeah.
to create a side hustle and work anywhere over the world, which is a lot of people's dreams. It's not, and the reason I say it's not mine, because I have traveled the world and I have seen the world and I've enjoyed it, but I don't give a shit if I ever get on a plane ever again. But that's a me thing. I used to work on cruise ships and
I
stuff like
know.
that. I'm like, I genuinely don't care if I ever get a plane again. However, that's not the point of this. So you've now gone from severe depression,
Yeah, up
not
to some.
knowing what to do and where to go, boom. Can I ask you a question? You said your son's called Edison.
Edison, yeah.
Is that because it was a light bulb moment?
Well, do you know what? It fits in perfectly. It fits in perfectly. Yes, it does. You're right.
I just wondered because I was like, Edison, the light bulb. I'm like, what a light bulb moment that is.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
I do the jokes. That's what we're here for.
It's a nice name, wasn't
So
it?
you're now, and this is what you're going to talk about, is you're going to talk about your goal and how you help people actually start their own business. This is entrepreneurial mind.
Mm,
I think with any business, somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago, Cuddy, what is it you do? And I was like, this is what I do, this is what I do. And they were like, does it light you up? And I'm like, yes, that's the reason I do it. It lights
yeah,
me up because in the days where I'm not feeling not as motivated, I'm like, I know there's somebody out there that needs a mind management coach.
yeah.
And if you've got a job that lights you up, you'll never work a day in your life. Everybody says that, but it's true. You might not
100%.
want to do it. You might not feel like you want to do it, but when it lights you up, it gets you up in the morning. And you know that from depression, when you're in that depressed state, you're walking around, you can't sleep, you're just walking around, you've got no
Mm,
joy in life, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't hear it. Right? You know that. You've been there.
yeah.
So how do you now say, if that's where you are, which is a powerful place for you to be, and say, look, this is what I've done. You've got to tell people how you help them and your goals, because that is pretty inspiring, mate. And I mean it for a father and his wife. And you've got
Yeah.
two kids now. Edison, what's the
Four.
other?
Four.
Four kids. Oh my God. Wow. Absolutely fantastic. This is a scary goal that you've set.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
and it's a
oh,
reality. There's no goal about it. It's a reality. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We already know it's going to happen because we've got everything in place. My mind's been open to this, and we've got everything in place. It will be whether it's the 1st of Feb or whether it's not, whether it's just slightly before. This is happening.
I love it. So, what's the goal and how is Made to Travel going to make you do it so that somebody else might go, that's what I want.
So the goal is on the 1st of February 2027. We are leaving the UK with our children. And well, not our eldest because she's in Brighton. She'll come out and visit.
You will. You'll be able to
Um,
get good flights and all.
yeah, ding ding, love it. Um, yeah, so we've got just over a year to do that. I decided on this. I woke up one morning. It was November time, 2025, literally a couple of months ago. And I turned around to Sam and went, right, I'm ready now. Let's do this. Done. Open your mind. But I'm going to say something about this because I love being on this podcast for a good reason. And that reason is that, see this journey I've been on since 2025. So I joined in 2025, January, 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And I flipped the switch, right? And Sam joined the year before. but I joined in 2025. Now, the the whole thing around mind is massively underrated. I'm sorry. Because I'm 47 years old, right? And January 2025, I joined this travel platform. And over the course of the year, the mentoring and the support and the guidance on books to read and how to self manage and to self kind of grow has changed me. I'm a completely different person, and it's all because of, I'm going to go back to your point, the questions that you ask yourself each and every day. There's never going to be a day that you might not have some struggle, you might not
Yeah.
have some negative thought, because it's all about retraining your brain. And there's a few people, I'm not going to name names, but there's a few audiobooks that I daily use to keep me on track, right? I didn't know that before. See if I knew that before. Geez, you peeps. But this journey from the mind is so important. And in November 2025, I woke up and I went, right, I am now ready. So the goal element of it from the mind is I now understand my mind. Not fully, don't get me wrong. It's a work in progress. But I understand that when I walk into a room and I'm going to pick up the hot glue gun because I'm doing a wall figure and I need to put something on with hot glue, that I'm probably not going to pick that glue up. I'm probably going to see something in the corner that also needs to be done. So I'm going to go towards that. And then from there, I'm probably going to go somewhere else. And from there, I'm going to go somewhere else. And then I'm going to go to probably another 5 things before I pick the hot glue up that I finally have remembered that was the reason why I went into the room in the first place. Right?
Yeah.
But I've now put in little mechanisms and little thought process and questions to not necessarily prevent that, but to do little goals to say that, okay, no matter what happens in this scenario, these are the things that have to be done. These are the non-negotiables of today.
Non-negotiables. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about guys, I'm not talking about for you out there who are that kind of person who like, and there's a lot of us out there. I'm just talking about 1 or 2 things per day. So I know that I want to communicate with 20 to 50 people, depending on the day I want to communicate. That's my goal in the day. So I'll do that goal. Anything else is fine. So that's my mini goal management. My goal management to leave the United Kingdom is at the end of February, I'll have introduced and educated 30 people to the platform. But and then come July, we will have 100 people in our team. I'm not going to go into details. And then from there, from July onwards, I've got a goal. So my kids will then go to Spanish school. So I'm not going to go through the entirety of it, but
Yeah.
I have set little goals. Now remember, we're leaving the UK, so this house needs to be gutted.
Yeah.
So we've got goals in place. So I've got a little weekly goal sheet on the fridge. And one of them is, okay, every week I need to clear one aspect of the loft out. And it just goes like that because my brain, if I don't do this now, then my brain will deviate.
Absolutely. Yeah, and do you know what? It's not just the ADHD. It's funny because I watch a lot of ADHD programs and autism programs, and I'm like, I I would suggest that I don't want to say that I'm on the spectrum in any way, but procrastination turns up for everybody. Internal negative self-talk has everybody. Some people will say it's louder with ADHD and autism, and I'm like, well, mine was pretty loud at one point, but I learned how to manage it and I learned how to organize it, which is exactly what you've done. But you've not actually genuinely talked about the business that you do, that someone's going to go, well, that's the business that I want. So the made
Right,
to
okay.
travel, which is, and it's an important part. The
Mm.
made to travel is a clever concept. And
Fantastic.
it's a clever concept. It genuinely is. How you can become your own travel agent
Yeah.
and actually become a travel agent for other people.
Cool. There's two types of people in the world. There's somebody who loves to book their own holidays. They love
Yep.
the research. But
Yep.
there's the second person who doesn't.
Yep.
They couldn't think of anything worse, and they would ask somebody to do them
Yep.
for them.
Yep.
E.g., travel agent. And that's why this model is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Because there's two elements to it. There's number one, you can become your own travel agent,
Yeah.
right? You're booking your own travel and you're doing the research, but what you don't understand is you're actually giving the commission away. You're giving it to the e-commerce sites. You're giving it direct to the hotel if you're going through them. But what this platform, in a nutshell, does, it gives you a business in a box, right? You book your hotel exactly the same way through the platform. We've got all of the suppliers. You are a travel agent. You're apt and you're ATOL protected, so you're completely covered.
Wow.
Unlike some, of the online places, you need to watch out for them. But then when you travel, you get the commission back on your travel.
Yeah.
And because you're a travel agent, you've also got the aspect of the industry agent rates as well, which I'm not going to go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But the second element is, right, what happens when we go to a phenomenal restaurant? We've had the most beautiful cuisine at the best price. What do we do with our friends?
You tell your friends about it.
We tell friends. What do we do when we've just watched a great movie on Netflix?
Tell them about it.
Tell your friends. What do we do when we go on a great holiday? You tell your friends.
Absolutely.
All this platform does is allows you to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if people want to use it, you get rewarded. It's the same as Revolut. You get an affiliate little thank you very much. But there's a beautiful, beautiful, unbelievable element to it. Number one is residual income, which is income that's paid monthly for you doing the work once.
Yeah.
And it grows incrementally through time. And the second is this incremental income is then enabled to be passed down. It's willable to our children. So we're ticking all the boxes for our family values. So if anybody has got that entrepreneurial spirit aspect, or if anybody needs that second, things aren't getting any easier, right?
Yeah.
More and more
It's
people are
getting
looking
easier
for that,
much, no, to be fair.
and people are looking for that way of earning that extra income. And this is beautiful because it just works alongside any job that you may have, and you can travel.
So, Kevin, because I think this is like you are literally going to, with a time and place and a structure that you've learned and been taught how to do, you are going to live in a different country with your friends and family and run your business from that country with all your friends and contacts in the UK so that everybody's going to be like, oh, I'll speak to Kev. It doesn't matter whether it's Costa Rica time, Australia time. I'm going to speak to Kev and he's going to book me a holiday, or he's going to show me how to book a holiday and somebody else can go and book their holiday for him and live the life that you want on your choice. And there's not many, I'm going to say, jobs that allow you to do that, because this is not a job. This is a business that you take care of and you own and you run. And look, it's Kev. I am super excited to join your journey because you are doing it on TikTok, aren't you?
We're going to document on TikTok, and we are starting a YouTube
Yes,
channel on the run up, and then as we go.
absolutely. Yeah, no. Look, I look for so the premise of this podcast is we've talked about mental health, we've talked about the entrepreneurial mind, the brain asking the questions. So there's the value you're going to get from this podcast, which is absolutely exponential, because it's like, oh no, that's now what I want to do. And I would genuinely say to anybody, because it's not for me to say who should or shouldn't do this, but this would be a perfect side hustle for a hairdresser.
Oh my word!
I mean, a
Look,
hairdresser, everybody
oh,
goes to the hairdresser.
if
And for
you've
a
got,
lady or male hairdresser, that's going to be an absolute blessing for them.
but the reason for it is that if you've got hair, beauty, personal trainers, nutritionists. If you've got a client base, right, you've already got people who go on holiday.
Yeah.
They come to you monthly for your massage. They come to you, for their hair, for their makeup, for their nails. They're chatting away to you. They know you. They like you. They obviously trust you because they're letting you, cut their hair. Why not then just help them get a great holiday and earn a second income on the side?
Mm.
It's a no-brainer. Like, it is a no-brainer, but people need
I
to.
It is, and I actually, I'll speak to you after the podcast because I know somebody that would be extremely suitable for, and it's a family member, so I will absolutely have a chat with you after the podcast. Look, is there anything else you want to share, Kev, before we start wrapping up? Because I know that you've got a busy life to
Yeah,
live with four bairns, mate, four children. Did not know that. Four children. The Edison was the light bulb moment, obviously.
yeah.
Love to Sam, but is there anything you want to share, Kev?
No, I just think that there's the age, and there's different points in your life, and it will come. It's just asking the open-ended questions,
Mm.
and when it's ready, you'll find that answer.
Yeah. Kev, you're a legend.
Thank you for having me.
Every interaction we've ever had, I've always enjoyed, Kev. Genuinely, I've always enjoyed it. It's been, and I do see so many benefits in that business, made to travel, where you become your own travel agent and you get to help other people save money up, becoming and book it. Do you know? I'll tell you who must be scared. Barhead Travel must be absolutely bricking it. To be fair, because of the money you're going to save people.
Can I? Well, it's not only that. I'm just going to put a prediction, and this is my own thoughts. It's not come from anyone else bar me. This platform is just exploding, and
Mm,
it's enabling people to do it themselves and obviously earn the commission back. And my prediction is that the word travel agent at the moment means an external body, an external person that you go to then provide you a service to book a holiday. The word travel agent in the next 5 years will mean somebody who books travel, period. So it'll be a household name. It'll be everywhere. You will have heard about it. That's so, yeah, to answer that question about other travel agents, I would be I would be worried.
if they are worried, they need to come and speak to you so they can start doing it for themselves.
Love it. Love it.
There we go. It's been a pleasure having you on the Mind Management Mentors podcast. If it's in the mind, it absolutely can be managed. And this is literally a step-by-step how to create your own business, understanding the entrepreneurial mind and what needs to get done and what happens when this has been a valuable podcast on pivot, the whole power of pivot, which is extremely important in any business that you do. Thank you so much for being on, Kev. It's been an absolute pleasure. To everybody on the Mind Management Mentors podcast, like and subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. And this is the place that we're looking for solutions. There's a solution to every problem that we have. And that's how we move from the right side of the brain, the fear side, to the left side, which is the creative mind. And as always, big love from Cuddy. And remember, if it's in the mind, it can be managed. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Mind Management Mentors podcast.